everybody. I am just so happy to see you today because I have something that I want to talk to you about that we just kind of take for granted these days. So, what I want to talk to you about today is your front office protocol. Now, your front office protocol is something that we generally just kind of, push off to the side. We really don't take a whole lot of time to think about, why we do or what we do with our front office. So, my name is Barbara Poe, and I guide new principals and assistant principals to excel in their roles. My passion is to transform the schools and help the principals and assistant principals create a clear vision, to empower their teachers, to foster a positive school culture, and to build a strong community. So, with our session today, we're looking at the front office protocol, where we're going to show that we have to have some consistency and foster some trust with our parents, especially engaging with unexpected parents at the front office, and how important a protocol is. So, how often does your front office staff feel as though they're overwhelmed when a parent shows up and the parent that they're unexpected and they're demanding to see the principal or the assistant principal, or how do they face these kind of challenges, and at the same time maintaining school security? And does your front office have a clear procedure for handling parents like this and these visits, or do you just leave it to them to just kind of work it the best way they can? Miss Felicia knows how to handle all of that. Well, that's fine, but we need to have a protocol. Our front office is a part of the school culture that we're developing. And in our underperforming schools, the front office is essential to maintaining and developing a positive school culture. So if any of these questions hit home, you're not alone. You're in the right place. When I was serving my time as a principal, that was a day when everything was just going fine. And we had an assembly with the students. The students were engaged. The teachers were engaged. Everything was just, it was just wonderful. Our school improvement things were just flowing. So I was going into my office to have a leadership meeting, with the department chairs, with the assistant principals. And then I get a knock on the door. It's the front office people. And they're saying that, there's this lady up here that's demanding that she sees the assistant principal. So they said, well, we don't. Well, I just don't know what to do. So the parent, she's so upset. Now, mind you, many of us at secondary, we've always had security on our campuses. Elementary campuses, not so much. So we've always had security, and lots of times the security may not be right there in the front office. And some of the schools, especially in our underserved campuses, they'll just get on the radio and say send security to the front office, and we'll handle it that way. But what we're going to do today, we're going to find out why these parents act this way, what we can do on our campus to make sure that our parents are respected and that the parents understand that we have structure to follow in the school. So we got a hold of the parent. I had to talk to the parent. I had to manage and manipulate and ask all the questions so that I could find out, exactly what we could do to take care of this parent and their issue. The first thing that most of us don't know is why the parents act like this. When you talk to some assistant principals and principals, they say, well, they don't go into the doctor's office and demand to see the doctor right away, or they don't go into their attorney's office and demand to see the attorney right away. Well, the difference is that parents in underserved communities, they just have a different mindset. They see the school as a community hub, as most of us do. We see the school, we identify with the school, we wear the school colors, we have our school chant, we are a part of that school community. So the parents think that, unlike a private office, the schools are the heart of the community. And parents, they view that, the school, is there for me, and that I have the right to access the leadership without any formal barriers. Whether that's right or wrong, this research says this is how they feel. And the parents, when they come in, they see their child's education as something that's deeply personal. This could be a child that is excelling, and this parent just never had that opportunity, and they're trying to pass on a generation where they're trying to eliminate all of those bad things that had happened in the past, and they have a child who they are proud of, and they see that their education as deeply personal. So they're thinking that they should get immediate attention because the stakes are so high. Then you have the mindset of the parents and people, in the neighborhoods, that they don't trust the schools. They've experienced failure, not only in their lives at school, but in their lives in general. We know, of the history of our communities, and they feel that their voices won't be heard unless they assert themselves forcefully. That's the mindset, and they feel that they're unseen, or they're unvalued, they're overlooked, in the by the education system. So they're thinking about showing up, unannounced can be their way of ensuring that they're seen and that their concerns are addressed. Think about this. Have you heard or have you seen times when you'll have parents going into the school with their big bonnets on, with their pajamas on, with their big booties on, and you said, well, why would they go to school like that? That is an external expression of how they feel, and this is how they do it, which means that I'm coming here because I want you to respond to me, because externally, this is how I look, and I'm not like y'all, and I need to be seen immediately. So when you see me showing up like this, that means that, I mean business. This is the mindset. So you also, have to understand that, these parents, are juggling, their own life challenges. There's childcare, you have healthcare issues. So when you start talking about, we need to schedule an appointment for you to see the principal, or for you to see the assistant principal, they just think that, that is just impossible for me to have to schedule, with all the things that I have to do and all the places that I have to go. So this is the reason that they act the way they act. So I'm going to tell you what you can say to the parent who acts like that. And this is all a part of the protocol. First thing is that you need to have a triage plan in place. The triage plan is pretty much, like the RTI. You have the the majority of your kids at the bottom, and then you have your middle stage, and then you have your top stage where you really, really critically need to help those children. Well, your front office has to have a triage plan. They have to uh, greet the parent. They have to greet them warmly with a smile. Because, in our small communities, people have reputations. Oh, Miss So and so came in here and she did this and she did that. So it's like the front office staff, is equipped to jump back at your parents. But that is not the way we want to form the kind of positive culture on our campus. We want them to be able to greet them, by, stopping what they're doing and finding out, how they can assist them. They're gathering information. Then you're going to ask, what their name is, what the child's name is, what's the problem. So, it's just like a triage when you go to the emergency room or the doctor's room. You're asking all these critical questions to determine just, what you're going to do. Should I send them to the counselor's office, or should I have a counselor to come out, or maybe the principal secretary can even answer that question. That's doing a triage. So when you have a triage in place, you have steps to follow. So what that does is that shows that you have a plan in place. And I'm going to tell you why it's important for you to have that plan in place with your front office. First of all, of course, security. In today's climate, you can call the security officer, or you can call the campus police if you feel uncomfortable. And if you don't have a plan, most of the time you'll get the front office people, they just go to radio and say, we need somebody up to the front because we got some unruly parents. Well, we have to understand the big picture. We are a school that may be underperforming, or we've just come out of underperforming. And we want to establish not only a culture with our students and with our teachers, but also with our parents. So you have to have a plan. And when you do your triage, you will know immediately whether you do need to have security at the front office. You want to be able to de-escalate as much as you can. Parents that just, show up, you're going to have a conflict. The other thing is that we want to make sure that our parents feel that they are recognized, because if they don't, then in today in social media, they're just going to go and they're going to get on social media and they're going to start talking about the school in a negative way. They're going to talk about the principal in a negative way. And, we're quick to say, well, we don't care, what they say. But we're not in that kind of business. As communities, urban communities and rural communities, our people in our communities have experienced things that are unjust, and we don't want to continue to perpetuate that at our front office. We don't want our parents to feel dismissed. Even sometimes, you think, well, I don't know what's wrong with them, but we've talked about what's wrong with them. We want to show the parents and to have the people at the front office to have positive engagements. So when the parents go to other communities and people regard them How may I help you? No, ma'am. No, sir. Let me see how, what I can do. And when you have that kind of protocol at your front desk, that's just going to permeate throughout the school, throughout the community about your school. This is a way to get your parents to cooperate with what you want because you have extended to them the kind of respect that they don't usually get. You have spoken to them in a way that they are not usually spoken to, as if they are somebody. So, what can you do, principal, assistant principal? You can have role play scenarios, practice how to handle different kind of parent interactions. And I know some of you said, well, we need to practice some of this with our teachers and with our students. Have some type of empathy training so that you can recognize the emotions that are behind these parents' behaviors and respond to them compassionately while maintaining your professionalism. You can teach your front office, appropriate wording, like responses. I understand how upsetting this must be for you. Let me see how I can help you. Let me see how I can take care of you. And then here's the critical part. After that interaction, after you have sent the parent to the right place, or you as a principal, you've had to handle this, send a follow-up email or a phone call. What? Now, that's a step beyond. I really appreciate you coming. I hope everything was taken care of today. And if you have any other concerns, please feel free to send me an email. How about that? But this is what we're talking about when we say create front office protocols that balance empathy, structure, and security. But before we wrap up today, I want to leave you with a challenge, principals, assistant principals, a call to action that can make a difference in how your front office is run. I want you to, this week, check your front office. Find out if you have protocols. And then once you've assessed what you have, then make your changes. Some of you may have excellent protocols. Some of you may have the protocols in place and you see that, you've had to add some things or take some things away because things change. Because we're ultimately about making sure that the culture in our underperforming schools are places where people feel respected, where people understand that the school has standards they have to follow. And then when we get that kind of culture, then within the community, we get community support. We get parents who want to help you to help their child. So I want to thank you for joining me today. And I can't wait to hear about the changes you're making in your schools. And if you have any questions or you want to share your progress, drop me a message in the comments. And you can look at our show notes for our links. Poke, Principals on the Come Up, where we transform schools into hallelujah success stories. We'll see you next time.